Birds of Prey issue 12, Legacy number 210. This is Kelly Thompson writing with Javier Pina and Sophie Campbell on the art.
And Gavin Goodry.
Is Gavin Goodry on this one as well?
Yes.
I guess that makes sense because I think the last couple pages are probably Goodry, given that. Because obviously each world they go into is a different art style.
Yep.
And then also the real world's the base art style. So yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, I mean, this continues what we've been doing. Very quickly at the start of the issue, they go into a new portal after they basically decide they shouldn't beat Maya yet because they have to find Babs first. So it's like, let's go into a new world now that Vixen's kind of like disabled her for a little bit. They jump in, and Sin is tasked with leading them into a new world that's going to be pleasant. And she leads them into a world where they all turn into cartoons. So we get this very kind of I don't even know how to describe the art, to be honest.
I believe the art is called chibi.
That's what you call this.
From
okay.
Connor.
All
yes.
right. Okay. So what you know, there's some funny things that come from this. Barda being annoyed because cartoons are not nice, they're very violent, which is why she likes watching them, so now she's very concerned. Is funny.
I love Kelly Thompson's characterizations on a lot of characters. Barda's up there with Kate Bishop at this point. You know, we're 12 issues in with Barda, and just every time she says something, it ends up making me smile.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I have a critique, is that they just kind of stumble into Babs quite quickly.
Yeah.
And I did kind of feel like, oh, really? We're just going to run into her? I mean, unless this turns out to not really be Babs and there's a whole thing at play, but I don't actually think it's going to do that. I think this is just...
No, because there's a lot of character, not unravelings, but there's some character beats that happen because of Babs that I feel like if it's not her, they don't work.
Yeah, it would be strange. It's just very weird. Like, all of a sudden, they just kind of hear Babs or Vixen notices her.
Yeah, because Babs has been stuck in wherever she's at for the last couple, right? Like, it keeps changing. In the dinosaur world, it was a cave up on a cliff.
Yeah, it just keeps shifting to whatever world they're in.
So here, Vixen hears her with her, because she can tap back into the red, and Babs is in a skyscraper, like a cartoon one, and I was like, this is a little bit easy. What something strange is afoot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the bit before it's quite funny because an anvil falls out the sky just randomly because it's a cartoon, but I think if they just set up that, oh, now that I've got the red back, I can maybe try and find Babs. Like, if they even just give us one page of it being like an effort to try and do it, it might have just felt better. But because it feels like, oh, we've went like 4 issues of like not being able to find Barbara Gordon, and then just, here she is. It felt a little bit like underwhelming to find her like that. So it's probably the biggest critique I've had of this entire run so far, to be honest. But like they regroup, they go to the bar, which later on leads to Barda fighting a lot of bunnies.
Yes, because there's no alcohol because it's a cartoon. So, it's just making Barda upset, and she's drinking too many root beer. Too much root beer. So
the big thing here is that they're basically discussing like how they get out of this place, and like, can they even like deal with Maya without like trapping themselves in here, since this is a place of her creation. What happens if she dies, for example? And it's like, well, what if Sela, Maya's sister that's with them, what if she kills her? Then the power might transfer to her. And it's Barbara that suggests that. And of course, keep in mind, the reason why these sisters all hate Barbara Gordon is because apparently in the future, Barbara Gordon's going to be responsible for the death of, was it their mother, I want to say?
Yep, their mother.
And yeah, so this kind of makes Sela feel weird. So probably the best scene in the issue for me is Cass going out to like just kind of bond and try and like ask her questions about her sisters, and because Cassie's whole story has always been about how she kind of found a new family and found kind of happiness there. So her going to talk to someone who's lost their family just kind of made a lot of sense to me.
Well, there's that, and she takes the approach of, you only told us how your sisters died. Tell me about your sisters.
Yeah, exactly. So
and so it was a very sweet moment that we've seen Cass kind of warm up. As she's gone from just small bat, right, to this person that she has a lot of like affectionate moments.
Yeah, and she's even the one that comes up with a plan for them to enact. And it's basically they want to like draw out Maya to get a lot of stuff going, and Barda's like, oh, I appreciate you giving me such a lovely part of your clever plan, small bat. Again, funny thing. So they basically just start causing chaos in the bar to like make a lot of noise and attention. Something they've established in the issue is that the portals always seem to happen when they draw Maya's attention because a lot of stuff's going on.
Yeah, so it's like there's like energy flux where it goes from nothing to the birds causing all this chaos. So we get Barda yelling, "Reign terror, sow chaos. All who behold Barda shall kneel before her greatness and be glad in it." And again, just everything she says is hilarious.
Yeah, some bunnies try to drop a piano on Barda's head, but Canary deals with that with her scream. It's a whole thing. So
there's a ninja bunny in there.
Yeah.
Like there's just a swarm of bunnies.
I will say I did like that when Maya shows up in the cartoon world, she's not drawn in the same art style. She's drawn like normal to sell that she's kind of outside of this. But their plan, it turns out to be, is that Megara is going to come out of Sin and sort of go toe-to-toe with Maya and sort of get a hold of her. So they do a whole thing where they take her into a portal. Because I'm assuming what they're doing here is when they jump into a portal with her sort of held captive, is that they're going to try and take her to a world, presumably with her sisters all alive, so they can sort of try and like bring her humanity back and like sort of remind her of like the happy times or something. I assume that's what they're doing, and that's like the world that they're trying to conjure up as they jump through the portal. Because they make a whole point of this, that Seela is going to be the one who conjures up the new world. She's going to go in first and make it be something. And Cass holds her hand to give her the confidence to make it a nicer world, because she's worried she's going to make it like every time I make a world, it's dark and depressing and it's messed up. So, I mean, it's an interesting thing. You don't get the payoff here yet, though. This is a tease for next time. Not that it's the end of the book, though, because we come back to the real world. And if you remember last time, Constantine walked off saying that he's going to get some help. And he comes back with Xanthe, the character from
Spirit World.
Spirit World. I did not. You know what? I knew who this was. I could not for the life of me remember the name of the book. But
I remember because that was the Cass, Constantine, and Xanthe book.
That's right. I did not expect it to be called back upon like this. Interestingly, Xanthe's whole connection to the afterlife and the afterworld or whatever, like they put their hand in the portal and basically say, are you sure they're not already dead? Now, I'm pretty confident they're not, but clearly the vibes that they're getting from this portal is clearly reminding them of what the afterworld feels like, and therefore is causing some tension and confusion.
So I'm wondering if because of all the sisters' powers and Maya and all that type of stuff, I'm wondering if it's some sort of limbo, and that's why, because they're not quite alive, but they're not quite dead, right? Because they're constantly shifting around. But yeah, very interesting. Another thing we kind of skimmed over was the Megara part, where Megara says that she felt Maya. She's been wanting a chat because she's the one that set things in motion in Themyscira. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, we do that though. That's just.
We did?
Well, yeah, because the entire thing in Themyscira was because what's her face, Meridian came from the future.
That's right, because of maps.
Yeah, so the motivation the whole time was because someone was trying to kill Babs, so it all does track back to her.
That's right. I forgot about the maps aspect of Themyscira.
Yeah.
I got so focused on Sin in that part of the story, and that's why they were going there. I forgot about the time traveling aspect.
No, I was also excited that she brought that up and said, hey, we're having a word about this because you actually kind of affected a lot of this. Yeah. But it wasn't new information to us.
Got you. Well, I treated it like it was, and it was oh man. So that was a nice
what a twist! I did not see that coming.
No. But yeah, Xanthe showing up. Nice surprise. I like that. But yeah, Birds of Prey still a fun read.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a sensible connection given like what they're currently doing in the book to have that character show up. The issue is pretty good. Obviously the chibi art isn't really to my taste. I understand why they did it, but it does mean that it's the least interesting to look at book out of this entire run for me. And the biggest complaint I'd have is the quick and easy finding of Barbara just felt like, oh, I guess like there wasn't really a motivation to find her right now. It just happens because it's time to find her, and that's a bit of an issue for me. But still, a lot of the little characterization moments are good. A lot of great funny lines as per usual, and I'm intrigued by what they're setting up going into this this final part. This is part 4 or 5, so next time's the finale of the arc. So. To see where we go. So yeah, and the art changes, of course, but the art changes all make sense, and they have done all arc. They've built the entire story around different artists doing different parts. So yeah, all right, what are you giving Birds of Prey?
I'm gonna give this a the art was kind of, although I did like it, I'm gonna give this a solid 8.
Yeah, I'm going to go 7 on this one, which is probably the lowest I've rated a Birds of Prey issue since Thompson started writing the book.
Yeah.
So I don't want to sound too harsh, but I do think the Babs thing is a little bit too quick and easy, and then, you know, not being in love with the art style also just kind of adds on to it.
Yeah, there are parts that I really liked about the chibi art style, the stuff that they do with Cass and all of that, and Barda, of course. But yeah, it's definitely not my taste. However, I got over it with a lot of the funny dialogue. So
yeah, it's the sort of thing where like I would much rather it look like a Looney Tunes cartoon than this for the you know, for the joke of them being in a cartoon world.
True,
but you know, that's a taste thing more than anything else. Like there's a lot of good things still in this issue. It's just, you know, it has maybe the most problems of any of the Birds of Prey issues that we've had. So hence my slightly lower score than normal.